Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the North East Non-League Show, episode 36, South Shields special, sponsored by Jade Bell, Herd Game 2, and Facebook sponsor DJ Private Hire. Join us tonight. We have Darren and Mark. Lads, thank you very much for joining us on the South Shields special tonight.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Hello there.
Excellent. Lots to go over. Quite excited about this one. I think I always love to see clubs who want to progress and trying to go that next level. That's exactly what South Shields have been doing over the last few years. So it's really exciting to have you on and chat about kind of what's been going on in the past and looking forward to a new challenge finally next season after winning promotion from that division as well. But start with yourself, Darren. As we spoke to Jeff on the show, I think a couple of months ago is now, if anyone deserves to go up after the last few years, obviously playoffs, penalty shootouts, COVID season, it was South Shields, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, just to add to your little part there, finally. but yeah, so can you just repeat what you're saying there, James?
Yeah, so we're just saying kind of obviously that stuck in that division, but it's heartache, the COVID, penalty shootouts, playoffs, and it's finally nice to now see if any club deserved it was South Shields to finally get that promotion now up the late divisions, isn't it? Yeah,
the spring of 2020 is not something we like to look on very fondly, to put it that way. I mean, when you look at it, we just beat FC United 5-3. We've gone 12 points clear. We were 9 games to go. With the way we were playing at the time, we were nailed on to go up. So you could forgive us for being at least a little bit peeved off. But 3 years later, we're finally there now. So we're happy.
No, excellent. And Mark as well, I mean, I love my non-league and I love to see all clubs doing well and try and progress up that pyramid as high as we can. But it's still, again, last season, even though clear at the top, there's still a few fans said that South Shields would bottle it. They've been in this position before, something would go wrong. But how nice was it to see that when it matters most, they did put the performance in and finally get that promotion?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. They did struggle towards the end to get a better match play in. But we've got a few players back, a few players back, brought them back into play again. And we finally got the winner at Whitby. I'd already bought the Champions flag a couple of weeks beforehand. And Blair Adams, the capital, blamed on me for the bit of a dip in form.
You're a jinx, Mark, you're a jinx.
Exactly, but I finally got it unveiled, Whitby away, and it was duly taken off us and used for the celebrations on that night.
Oh, fantastic. And looking back at last season, Darren, I mean, one of the signs for me, Gary Little, obviously watching a lot of Hartlepool over the years, very good experience. And I think it was key. And one of the main reasons this time around with the experience in that changing room, one of the main factors why the Shields got promoted last season. Would you agree with that?
He was my player of the season. Mm-hmm. Absolute Rolls Royce defender he was. I mean, he's been up there and done it in the Football League for God knows how long. They think the world of him at Notts County. You see the same at Hartlepool and all that. So, but you knew what we're getting with him, and very rarely he put a foot wrong, and he actually made some of our defenders better players. I mean, Dylan Morse, for me, the way he played he was playing alongside Gary Little. We saw a huge improvement in him this season when he came back from injury, and I put all down Gary Little. Thank you.
No, that's great, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Definitely. And Mark, like you say, you beat Warrington 2-1 party time, but obviously days after the news breaks that Phillips leaves. And what was kind of your thoughts at that minute when the news was released? Obviously, all extra happy after promotion, and all of a sudden Phillips leave. Do you think, looking back at his time on Shields, how did you think that went?
Well, to be honest with you, it was rumoured for a good couple of weeks before he actually resigned. Well, not resigned, but it was a mutual consent that they've been get parted ways. And obviously after a week or so, Jeff made a sort of a live sort of interview and explained the reasons why. But and yeah, I totally agree with what Phillips was after and what Jeff. They didn't really match, you know what I mean? Obviously we'll get on later on tonight, but We'll get onto that later on tonight. But yeah, I think Phillips, we played some good football last season, and I think without the name of Kevin Phillips, I don't think we would have attracted some of the players that we did. The likes of Tom Broadbent, possibly even Harry Little as well. We've got to look back on that. Yeah,
definitely. Even Craig, thank you very much for watching. Even lads, hope you're okay. Shields are 2-0 down. Hope your night not good. Yeah, we've just been chatting out before the show. Keep an eye on the scoreline as well. Even Craig, thank you very much for watching.
It's only pre-season.
Exactly.
Moving on a little bit now, and Darren, obviously Shields legend Julio Arca is appointed new gaffer. I know it was funny because I was talking to Jeff. He couldn't kind of break the news there and then, but he says it's almost a done deal with someone coming in the next few days, and that's exactly what happened after the interview on our channel as well. On social media, I know looking at it, a few people said they want a manager who's been there, done the business at that level, but obviously a lot of people over the moon that Arca was back, obviously legend at the club. What was your thoughts on the Arca appointment?
I was delighted. I mean, when you think about when Jeff brought Kevin Phillips in the first place, he was a rookie then as well.
Yeah.
And he's going down the same road again. But in this case, he's a complete rookie. I mean, what's he's done apart from like a bit of youth coaching in Argentina. But the main gripe I had with Kevin Phillips was from the get-go, he was a divisive appointment because a lot of the Shields fan base, as you know, like it's a big split between Newcastle and Sunderland, like that. And it's so, and in a way, in some people's cases, it's sort of like alienated like a chunk of the Shields fan base that goes to the games. With Arca, you're not going to get that at all because he's a club legend. I mean, he only spent 3 years in this club, but 3 promotions, 6 trophies. 5 of those trophies are down to him as captain as well. Day out at Wembley, he led them up the steps, and he's got that leeway right off the bat to get his first foot in management. We will give him leeway because of his status.
Definitely, like you say, and I think Mark as well. The experience also comes in the shape of Tommy Miller, great coach in the North East, obviously former Spenny gaffer, an assistant as well, and I think with them two there, they are going to be bringing the like you say, the signings. It is going to help obviously with him on the training ground as well. But it's a massive appointment, not just Arca, but bringing in Tommy Miller as well, isn't it?
Oh, without doubt. I mean, obviously Arca's a good signing as manager. I'll sort of see it as Arca, pulling the crowds in. Obviously, ex-Shields legend, you know what I mean. But the appointment of Tommy Miller, I was over the moon with that. The experience he's got with Spennymoor and Buxton, absolutely brilliant. Can only do well at this club.
Yeah, I think, like you say, with them two together, I think obviously the experience with Tommy, but obviously fresh new ideas of Arca first time management as well. It could be a bit massive season next season for them, couldn't it?
Hopefully, yeah. I think we've made some good signings. There's a lot of good lads left as well. Obviously, we'll get on that later. Hopefully, there may be a couple more signings coming our way. Hopefully, but we'll see. Yeah. I've got other views as well, but I know there's questions coming later, which we'll cover that.
Definitely. And getting on to kind of the retain list and stuff as well, before we touch on that, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's tuned in so far. I really appreciate your support as always. If you've got a few comments, get them in there as well. We'll get them read out. What's your thoughts on the players that's coming over so far in the summer, the pre-season so far, and what's your predictions for next season for South Shields as well? And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We're so close now to that 1,000. I think about 24 away now. So your support would be huge if you could hit that subscribe button tonight for us as well. And starting back yourself, Darren, the retain list comes out, and obviously the likes of Alessandro, Bodderham, O'Shea, leaves, Hunter joins Gateshead, Doherty joins Spenny. Was there any players on that list when it came out and thought, yeah, we're going to miss them, and why?
Well, for me, there were 3 of them on that list that I thought we were going to miss. Alessandro is one, but I've got a funny feeling the wages he might have been on might have been not been very difficult to keep him. Plus, I heard he might want to go back to the Northwest, and it's sort of happened with him going to Hyde United. Darius Asai was actually the one that shocked me, to be fair, because he's been our top scorer for the last 2 seasons, although both times he only got 14 goals. So he's not exactly the out-and-out striker, but he's a terrific attacking forward. And I put a lot of our turnaround in, like, after the FA Cup run, and we had that little bit of a blip when we lost to Hyde United at home. A big turnaround, I thought, was actually Kevin Phillips sending a side out on loan to Ashton United, because it got his confidence back. He got goals there, and when he came back, he was a different player. And and I think it was a run. I think it was, what was it, Mark? Was it 11 games we went without defeat or something like that?
After the Hyde game, yeah.
Apart from that trip to Guiseley, and in a way, I put that winning the league down to that decision. So for Phillips, I would give him credit for that. I mean, he got a lot of stick when he sent Osai on loan, because he was pretty much our only in-form forward. But in the end, it worked.
Definitely. And Mark Play's coming in, the Fundu in from Spenny. Obviously, massive player there last season. Spenny, all the lads touched on the other night, the Spenny fans that we had on. Briggs, Adams, obviously all re-signed. Gomez as well. Luke James comes in, and obviously the big one for me was Black. I don't know, I'm kind of putting a team together with players who are to watch next season. He's one of the strikers up there who I think will do really well next season at South Shields. And what's your thoughts on them lads who's came in so far?
I mean, you've got the 3 lads who've re-signed, Briggs, Adams, and Gomez, especially Briggs and Adams, absolute stalwarts, local lads. Wouldn't be the same team without them. Gomez, young lad who's coming on, put a lot of beef on this pre-season. I think he's going to turn a few heads next season. Obviously, with Hunter going, all right, but I loved Hunter. I thought he was brilliant. But with Lafuda coming in, I couldn't believe it. I've seen Lafuda play against South Shields. I think he was down in Aston. He was, and I can see him then. He's a brilliant player. Paul Blackett played against South Shields. I think he was on loan at Whitby a couple of seasons ago. Scored a couple of goals against us. You could see then, type of player you want on our side, now goal scorer, which you've missed for a couple of seasons. Luke James, I don't know too much about, but I've heard some really good reports. So yeah, I think it's looking good so far. But as we go on, I think we're going to rely a lot more on our academy. We've put a lot of money into our academy in the last few seasons. And we've got to start seeing the fruits of our labour with that. A lot of fans are going, still got to throw money at it. It's a big league this season. Some big clubs in this league. I'll be happy with mid-table. And I hope with mid-table, they'll bring a few lads out of the academy. A few lads who had on loan last season as well. Have done really well. And I hope, they bring them in instead of relying on money and things. I won't name them. I think name it as we go on through this through the podcast.
Yeah. No. If I could just add to that, James, I did watch your Gateshead season preview when Dan Bell talked about Jordan Hunter going to Gateshead and all that. I was actually one of the first people you messaged about see how is Jordan Hunter and all that, and it's a totally unbiased view, but I believe that Gateshead have got themselves, in my opinion, the best right back in non-league in the region, hands down. We did rate them that highly. They are getting a cracking player. But if you're going to replace them, just get the guy who's just been voted in the team of the season for the National League North, which is I've only seen Lafuda once in that game against Heaven, and he is an absolute. He's a machine. He is. He's got what Jordan Hunter's got, but he's also got muscle. Yeah, he can shift. He can shift his weight a bit, and I was really, really impressed with him. We lost, but I was still really impressed.
Yeah, and Darren as well. Just an extra question about obviously the players going out. I know there was a lot of strikers leaving. We just obviously touched on my Mark there with the 2 strikers coming in. I know I sent my friend Chris, who's probably watching now. He's a massive South Shields fan, and obviously Luke James coming in, and he said kind of what's he all about. And I watched him a few times, a couple of years at Hartlepool, and he will put himself about. He doesn't get too many goals, but he's always in and around that place. And I just said he needs someone alongside him, and literally a week or so later in comes Blackett. I mean, between them two and obviously the players that's still there, they've still got the firepower to get the goals in for next season, haven't they?
Yes, they have. I mean, I'll just add to Mark's point there. I can see you mentioned about João Gomez, one of our academy graduates. Okay, he's the one that I'm really most excited for. He's had a terrific preseason so far. The 2 goals he got this weekend just gone Shildon were well, they'd be 2 that Blackett himself would have been proud of. They were very well taken goals. He's got he's put on a bit of beef this year as well, so he's upped his physical game, and so I expect lots of him. Luke James, I can see him taking what was the Alessandro role in the team, because Alessandro was the supporter of the forward line, which last season was Asai and whoever was part of, which was mostly actually Jordi Mongoy, who's actually dropped back into midfield in pre-season that we've noticed, which actually so far has worked really well. He's actually been one of the best performers in pre-season so far as Jordi Mongoy since being dropped back. So Julio has got a lot of options, yeah. But Luke James, yeah, he will take the Alessandro role. I'm sure of that, and yeah, I'm curious to see how he does. I mean, I just hope his injuries in recent years have not affected his game too much, but he's hoping he can stay fit.
Definitely. And time to put you both in the socials hot seat now. Start with yourself, Mark. Obviously, with the players in and out so far, where do you think now over the next few weeks before the season does kick off, where they need to strengthen it, and is any certain players that you would like to see come in the door?
Well, that's a tough question. I haven't actually been to any of the pre-season games yet. I've been on holiday, and I won't do. I'll only be able to get one in, which is Gateshead home week come Friday, which will be a big game. Players coming in. Don't think there'll be many more coming in. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe. Obviously, we're going to need a slightly bigger squad next season because it's more game. But I think we'll probably rely a lot more on bringing some lads through. Maybe blooding some lads from the academy. Maybe consolidate next season. Mid-table, maybe. See what we've got in the academy. We're kind of stop. Keep on throwing money and stuff. We've put a lot of money in this academy. We've got to start seeing the fruits of our labour with this. But there's some good lads, some cracking lads who've been loaned out and who are back in the squad now. The likes of Will McGowan, who's at Blythe Spartans last season. Young lad, but he played man of match appearances for Blythe on a weekly basis.
I think he was their player of the season as well.
I think he was, mate. Yeah. I was quite surprised he went on loan actually, but it's probably done him some good. But he's a brilliant player, young lad. Hopefully put a bit of beef on. He's a good footballer. And the likes of Will Jenkins, who was on loan at Dunstan last season, he's back in the squad now. He was Dunstan's player of the season as well, I think.
He was.
Yeah. And for me, he's going to be our dark horse. I think that's my one for next season. And obviously, the likes of Stan Hodgson, didn't really get a chance against with Phillips. I think Phillips wanted a bit more experience in the squad last season. He got sent out on loan to a few teams. Hopefully, they'll keep him, and hopefully, he can prove himself under Arca and Tommy Miller.
Yeah, and for yourself, Darren, from what you've seen so far, is anywhere that you think that we need to strengthen as well? What I was going to touch on is obviously with Tommy Miller, Arca there, Sunderland links, Middlesbrough links as well. Possibly, you never know, maybe testing the loan market as well. Do you think there'll be any more players coming before that season starts?
Yeah, I think if there's any players going to come in between now and the start of the season, there will be loan signings. I mean, they will be easier on the budget to come on that front. But in terms of players coming in, the only two of our academy graduates this season are goalkeepers, Callum Dobson and Kyle Seymour. But I think they'll be sent out on loan again. I mean, Callum Dobson, he was on due registration last season. He went to Bolton. I can see them both getting some northern. I'd like to see Dobson get get some first division football rather than the second division this season. That would it would help his development. So I would like to see like an experienced number 2 to actually come in and challenge Miles Boney, and just keep him on his toes a little bit. I mean, because don't get me wrong, Miles Boney is a fantastic shot stopper. He's terrific in that department. Loves to control his box as well, but he has got issues with his distribution, although that could be coached into him. But yeah, that's why I want to see a good number 2 goalkeeper.
Yeah, and looking at next season, Mark, and obviously the Conference North, it's very exciting next season, especially for the local games like for Blythe, Darlow, Spenny, but then big teams like Scunthorpe, Chester, Hereford. How excited are you for the new season, and obviously getting to games, getting to grounds that you've never been to before? What are you looking forward to the most?
Like I say, it's some local derbies. We've been starved with local derbies in the last few seasons. Closest one's been Morpeth. Morpeth don't like us, but that goes back a bit. But it'd be good to get some local derbies. To get some big crowds in. Local derbies. I mean, we're averaging about 2,000 last season, a home game. Hopefully we'll put that up a couple of more hundred, you know what I mean? Maybe 2.5. And then you've got some big clubs like Scunthorpe, Hereford, who've got some quite big fan bases. Hopefully they'll come in numbers as well. And hopefully don't bring too much trouble with them. But I'm looking. I mean, I like Bishop Stortford, which is on the outskirts of bloody London. You know what I mean? It's practice. Looking to go a bit further afield as well. So yeah, it's just the local derbies for me. Yeah, home and away. If I can get to both of them, it'll be cracking.
Yeah, and is that the same for yourself, Darren? Like you say, the game, especially like the likes of Darlow, bringing the amount of crowd that they will be bringing, it's going to be exciting, isn't it? Just for the North East in general next season.
Yeah, in a way. That's good, yeah. I'd also add Scarborough that because we've got a good relationship with Scarborough and their fan base, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them again. But yeah, we're just looking forward to like it's a new adventure, like new teams to visit, new fans to meet, new grounds to visit, and all that. I'm with Mark in that regard. Bishop Stortford is going to be one that's going to be really interesting to visit next season. I mean, who has a team in the North Division on the outskirts of London?
You've got to feel sorry for them.
They'll definitely have a few more home wins and away wins, won't they? They're not like their midweek away games, I don't think.
No.
But yeah, it's a few I'm looking forward to. Hereford's going to be a nice one to visit, hopefully. I was hoping to go to Kidderminster, but obviously they've got promoted, so that's off the list. Farsley would be a nice one to visit, although that's a midweek, so that's out of the question for me. There's a good few on there.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. And back to yourself, Mark, sitting now, obviously seeing the squad, the ground, it's just looking absolutely fantastic at the moment. What's going on behind the scenes? I mean, before we get into your predictions of next season and stuff like that, looking at Jeff and looking at Julio, the talks that they've had, what do you think that them two sitting down, what do you think the club's aims and Arca's aims are for next season, would you say?
Like I say, I think Jeff has sort of made it known, and not in so many ways, but I think the time's come where we're not looking to throw money at the first team anymore. Unless we have to, unless the right players there. We need to start looking at the academy. Don't get us wrong, there's some brilliant players coming through from that academy. And hopefully we'll see them playing next season. And because of that, to me, if we can go mid-table again, mid-table next season in the league, maybe a good run in the FA Cup like we did last season, maybe a good run in the trophy as well. That'll do me fine now. Because it's there. I mean, a lot of Shield fans are saying, look what Scarborough did, look what Buxton did last season, nearly getting the playoffs. Yeah, but they do something, but we'll see. If we get in a playoff position, I'll be over the moon. But I think it might be a bit too soon. I think, if you ask me, I think we need to start bringing a couple of these academy lads and making see if they can actually hack it in this league, and then maybe the leagues above as well.
Yeah, 100%. And Darren, I mean, just if them two have sat down and said, right, this is the aims, and we kind of want to kind of be around mid-table pushing on, and just see after 3 or 4 months into the season, things are going well and they're kind of pushing on. Do you think possibly at that stage you might see 1 or 2 of the higher paid players coming in and make sure, let's right, we're up there now, let's stay up there? Because you look at things now, and it's a conference north. You go to have a good season, you could end up in the conference, and then you wonder even before the football league. It's crazy when you think about, but then that bounce of what you've had the last few seasons of being up there all the time, it's something that Shields are used to now, aren't they? That's the thing. And if you have a good start, anything could happen, couldn't it?
Well, in a way, I'm actually looking forward to having a season where we're not having to worry about trying to win the league or something like that. Yeah,
I bet.
It'd be nice to have that pressure away for a change. But yeah, going back to the original question, I think they'll play it cool because, but you know, every season teams evolve over the season, new players will come in and all that. But I don't think they'll just go. I don't think they'll go crazy. If they do well, they might just say, you know what, we don't need to change things around here. We'll just stick with what we've got. Try and keep the players fit. If we might bring 1 or 2 loan players in just to try and cover some areas where we're falling short in terms of numbers. But the pressure, like I say, the pressure's off for next season. I mean, for once, I've actually gone with a very conservative league prediction. We'll probably get onto later on, but yeah, it'd be nice. It'll make a nice change this season. Next season, we can just enjoy it for once.
Yeah, it'd be nice, isn't it? Like you say, it just seems to be pressure after pressure. Why you're not top of the league? Why you're not 20 points clear at the top of the league? It's just going to be nice. Just relax, enjoy new grounds, enjoy seeing new players, and hopefully, you never know, touching on towards the playoffs next season will be fantastic. And that's what we kind of end on today as well. From both of you, start with yourself, Mark. I know you touched on the mid-table around the area. What would be your league prediction for next season, and who is your player to watch as well?
League prediction for South Shields, probably around 9 or 10. Player to watch, I think, next season for South Shields, Will Jenkins, young lad who was out in Northern Dutton last season, done tremendously well. And I think he's come back a bigger lad, stronger lad, and more experience. I think he'll do well. I think he'll turn a lot of heads next season.
Yeah, and for yourself,
do you want
Mark?
Sorry, do you want us to top of the league in relegation? I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. Who do you think will be up there?
I think you can't go past Gunthorpe at the moment. Obviously, there's still a lot of things going on in that club behind the scenes. But I think they've got bought a hell of a lot of players in, as has Gloucester City, I think. But I think they start from scratch this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've gone from full-time back to part-time now.
Right, yeah. Got you. Right. So I think them two will be up there. Bottom, probably the likely lads who scraped it last season, maybe Blythe, which I don't want to say because our next door neighbours. And I beg for them, I pray to God that they would stop, just get to play in the season,
Yeah.
But you've got to be realistic, They've relied heavily on loan players this season. I think they probably will again next year. So we'll see. Maybe Farsley as well. Maybe struggling. But we'll see. I mean, Warrington. I mean, even though they've got some good players, Warrington, I don't think they've brought many players in. So they might struggle. But we'll see. They've got some good players. I think it's going to be quite tight. It's going to be a good competitive league, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. Unfortunately, with the Blythe one, like you say, I know we had obviously the Blythe show a few weeks ago. Things just not looking well at all on and off the field there at the moment. But just hope over the next few weeks they can get a few more players in, better players, hopefully stay in that division, because I think they would have learned by now. You kind of keep relying on that great escape, and I think that's the luck's going to run out at some point. Hopefully not next season on that one. And Darren, yourself, your prediction, obviously your players to watch, and who do we think will be up there or down in the league as well?
Yeah, I'm going a bit lower than Mark, and I'm going to say 11th place, which will still represent a fantastic first season at this level. I mean, but I put that more down to the competitiveness of the top half as a whole. I'm going to say I agree with Mark. There's no looking past Scunthorpe to win this league. I mean, the investment they've put into, they've got budget that dwarfs even us. In this league. I mean, you probably multiply it by about 5 with the players they've signed. Chester, Kings Lynn, Brackley. I even throw in Darlington in there as well because yes, they've not signed much, but they've kept a good strong core. And to go down, well, I'm the two easy ones that everyone's seeing, Bishop Stortford and Rushville Olympic. They'll be the bottom 2 that I think. I mean, nothing against them. The other 2 are a tough one. I think, unfortunately, Farsley will be one of them, and unfortunately for Blythe, I hope I'm wrong, but I can finally see them falling through the trapdoor. I mean, they've only brought in, like, say, 2 players. And it just makes me think that they're going to rely heavily on academy players. I mean, don't get me wrong, they've got a great academy last season. They won the National Alliance last season in the North Division. So they've got good players there, but you can't rely on them all the time, or too many of them. I mean, you can't rely on them. And as for a player to watch, I'm going to go back to a guy that I mentioned earlier in the show, and that's João Gomez. I think this could be his big breakthrough season. I mean, it was supposed to be last season to Kevin Phillips, but I thought Kevin Phillips underutilized him or used him wrongly. Julio seems to have him playing more in his more favoured role, and so far in this pre-season, he's seeming to thrive. And so João Gomez is the one is the one to watch.
Excellent. And I've actually gone for playoffs. Funny enough for this one, I just think the player to watch, is Blackett. I really rate the lad. I've watched him for many years now. In the North.
I think you're right there. I think you're right there, mate. It's the first time he's played full-time football. I think he'll kick on with that. I think brilliant striker, like I said earlier. It's a striker that we've been after for a long, long time. 20 goals plus a season, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, last 2 years he's played under Langstaff and Scott at Gateshead. He's also played under Glenn Taylor at Spain, also for Adam Campbell as well. I think he's been wanting the lead role for a good number of years now, and he feels like he's been ready, and he's going to get that with us.
Yeah, seems very exciting for the move to get there. What we've heard of him, and obviously, like you say, some of the goals that he has scored over the last few years. Brilliant striker. Really excited to see what
he's going to be the number 9 we've needed since Jason Gilchrist left. We've missed the number 9 since he left.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
No, great show. But lads, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight. And like you say, we wish the club the very best of luck, and hopefully back on next season talking about a good season and lots of happy things to talk about, non-negative, hopefully, and hopefully a good season on and off the field for the club as well. And again, everyone, thank you so much for watching as well. We really appreciate support. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button as well. Got a busy week this week. The wife's away, so instead of throwing parties, I've got some extra shows on. Instead, we're back tomorrow night looking at the Northern Premier League and Division 1 East with Dan, and back on Sunday for our Northern League special as well. So get tuned in both them shows as well. We're hoping to hit that 1,000 by the end of next week as well. So please keep hitting that button if you haven't already. But again, lads, thank you very much for joining us, and hope you enjoy your trips this season.
Thank you very much, Rick. Cheers, man.
Bye.